particular difficulty, so it's very flexible. Another module of GTT is called Verify or Check. This enables you to create a checklist with visuals and sound as well, and audio, very similar to the previous one. But here, in this case, the employee has to do a checklist. They have to check all the tasks as he or she performs them. So they some of them can be linear. So you can't move on to the next sub-task until you've checked the previous one. Or it could just be random. This is very useful, for example, to verify in the morning, verify the work tools, make sure they have everything ready, the different steps needed to get a machine up and running, verify that all the steps have been conducted. So the person selects them all and then clicks on each of the items. Another module is called Today, for Today, which is very important. It's an agenda. And here what you can do is see on screen the different events that you have for a particular day. So by default, of course, you get the day's events and ranked by and prioritized. And then all these events at the right time, for example, during break, then you get an alarm saying break time. Either an image, a visual, audio, text, whatever, and it's time for a break. So the employee knows whether they need 10 minutes and needs to hurry up to wrap it up, or that it's time to go, or just that it's time to move on to the next task, and that way it helps them organize themselves in position, but also in the time. So it's not just conducting the task, but also the time allotted for each, so they can evolve. And the last module is information. Info for you. So two things you can do here. Basically information, with slides, for example, with text, image, and visual. Again, for example, on information, on labor risk prevention, on-site information. All that can be built into that particular module. You can also put questionnaires, in fact, where the user can answer basic questions on those slides. It's like a slideshow on the side, etc. So the employee, in the case of gardening, they can learn different bits, all the different tools they have to use, and you do a slideshow of all the tools, and then you might have a slideshow saying, so what is this element? And they would answer the questions and so on. Then the GTT, we completed this tool last year, and we've been, this is a version 2 of release 2. We've been testing it in different employment agencies of AFM, and both users and administrators have been giving us feedback, and overall the appraisal was very good. Now we want to get a second evaluation in the areas where we've implemented it, not just the usability of the system, but how effective it is to carry out the tasks. To do this, we did some lab testing in the lab, where we evaluated the functionality of the GTT, ease of use, and in conducting simple tasks. But what we tried was also to find out whether the GTT is effective, also to improve the efficiency or the speed at which tasks are performed. So we introduced some techniques here, for example, physiological response, or face recognition to see whether they were stressed or not, or in particular tasks where they were having difficulty, or whether they're using the GTT or not, or tasks in which it was compulsory to use the GTT in order to conduct a different task. So we designed different parameters to do that, both to the visual, we can to understand the usability of the software, and to get a physiological response and the feedback of the user, as well as that of the administrator. And the conclusions overall were very good, because no major differences in the time required to do work. In other words, when you're supervising someone, they can perform the task, but always the same pace. But with the GTT, what we found is that the response times was faster at different tasks, and they were doing them in less time. So basically, we're being more independent, and they were also checking, using less the PDA or the handset. There were also less stress, less anxiety when users use this application. In other words, they're not being supervised constantly, but they can verify themselves using the GTT. And also, they were more proactive when there's not a supervisor on them. So the mobile software can be very important to offer them, give them more independence, autonomy, and aid also. I mean, there's always someone there to help you in case a doubt. And so if I have difficulty, I don't know what to do, I can just stop and wait for someone to help me. Or I'm more proactive and I use the GTT to check and consult whenever I'm in doubt. So the Avanza PDA, this new project, wants to delve deeper into this application. We want to add more features and bring them into into different platforms such as Android systems, and give them more usability features, a more customizable interface. The project was launched in October 2010 all the way to 2012. Again, the Institute of Biomechanics and the AFM are involved. And again, in this project, and what we're doing, in addition to the modules that GTT already has, but we want to give them a facelift, we want to introduce modules to enable communication. Easy, simple communication by mobile messages or phone, for example. Simplified interfaces adapted to the needs of the individual. That may be useful for example, to communicate with the person in charge, with an administrator, and so on. A mobile or GPS, for example, to enable geolocalization, and positive feedback to the user. Evaluation of how, for example, they're using the feedback on how they're using the task and how they're using the system, and instant reporting to the administrator, and positive feedback to the employee when they conduct something, when they do a job correctly. So conclusions, I'm sorry, I've gone very, very fast, but basically, conclusions. We find that these applications, mobile devices, are very useful to improve the independence, both personal and labor independence of these individuals. That is increased learning, greater quality of work, and also the use of these standard ICTs, using normal handsets that the employee can also use in other contexts. Very positive feedback from users. The importance of developing additional material, not just the software, but also we need to decide what we input into the software, because every company is very different. Companies are all different, but we can also develop tools to enable them to make up or add the appropriate details to the software. Also, we find that this software can be very useful in other industries, other sectors. So, we also try to promote the independence of people. For example, task management, daily events, communication, and also social and cognitive rehab programs. Since these programs, basically, it's hardware, and you can fill in any software you want to. You can adapt it to different environments, not just at work. Although that's what we're working on at the moment. And having said that, I think that's all I had to share with you. Thank you.